thought I would introduce myself a little bit and sort of talk about my plans for what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and just give you guys an idea of what's going on, I guess. So I'm Lara, and I have thought about starting a channel for a while, but it seems like a lot of the channels that I've enjoyed are very focused on one sort of very specific thing, which is great, and I really enjoyed those channels, but I like to do lots of different things, and so I thought that having a channel of my own maybe wasn't the right thing for me. But I have started to want to work on a project for Halloween this year, and was having trouble finding as many resources online to do what I wanted to do as I have had luck in doing in the past. I've learned so many things of so many different topics from other videos, and I thought, well, if I'm looking for something like this, maybe someone else is, and maybe even if some of the videos I do don't get a lot of views, maybe it'll help someone else figure out how to do something for my own trial and error. So that's why I decided to finally do this. I'm gonna probably over the next several months be focusing heavily on a Halloween project I'm working on, but I might mix in a few other things, which is why I decided to name the channel Curio Workshop, because it's not a very specific title and it can allow me some more flexibility. I've learned, like I said, so many things from other people's YouTube videos. I'm probably going to be incorporating a lot of the ideas I've seen into stuff I work on, but I'm hoping to do some original ideas too. So I guess to sort of tackle the topic of my first big project is I'm going to be working on converting our garage into a mad scientist laboratory for Halloween. I started a few years ago decorating our front yard for Halloween pretty intensely as a dead and breakfast theme, and then I slowly expanded it every year. Last year I added a brew pub that had a cauldron and all kinds of sort of like potion-y things that was in addition to our dead and breakfast. And this year I'm going to be adding a laboratory spa where the various patrons of the dead and breakfast can go for treatments and tune-ups and all kinds of things. It's going to be heavily influenced by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So I've been diving into research on the films, and I'm going to be rereading the book to get a lot of influence from that, but I don't want it to be just straight out of Frankenstein. So it's going to have sort of my own twist on a mad scientist laboratory, although I was watching The Bride of Frankenstein last night, and I was watching a lot of the props they used, and a lot of them are actually made out of household items. Like I was noticing some of the sort of mad scientist devices had like salt and pepper shakers on top of them. So I'll probably do a video at some point really dissecting some of the props that they used in the movies and trying to recreate some of them. But I'm also going to be doing a lot of my own thing. So this is a topic I sort of had started to think about doing very late last year. I built a bunch of mummies out of recyclable materials last year, and one of them I made was very broad-shouldered and kind of not quite as humanoid as I had hoped starting out. And I thought, man, that would be a really good Frankenstein. But it was so late in the month of October that I didn't have time to really develop it into that. And so I turned it into a mummy. So I'm planning on repurposing the body I made for that to be a Frankenstein. And I'm working on a Frankenstein head right now that is made out of a foam head that I'm sculpting the face onto. And if that turns out well, I'll go back and sort of show you how I did that. But the reason I sort of got the kick in the butt to really start working on this is my family and I were at the thrift store recently, and we're walking down the aisle, and my kids saw this cosmetologist mannequin head and said, "Oh, that's creepy." And so of course I backtracked and looked at it, and I thought, yeah, it's a little creepy. And like I said, I'd already sort of had this idea to do a Frankenstein-esque prop, and I thought, I bet I can can turn her into the Bride of Frankenstein. So that's another project I'm going to be tackling. I'm going to do her hair. I've already got some white extensions to do, and then I'm going to remove her face paint and repaint her as the Bride of Frankenstein. So she's sort of what got me started this early in the year, which is good because I've got big ideas that are going to take months to work on. I'm going to do a lot of potion bottles and apothecary, and I'm going to be doing a lot of things from recyclable materials to sort of upcycle things that would have ended up thrown away or recycled, but also will help keep this hopefully an affordable project, because of the scale I want to do it at. It could get very expensive if I'm buying things for it, but I'm certainly going to have to buy some things. I mean, I've already bought the foam head and the clay and things like that. So yeah, so keep a lookout for more videos. I do also want to say I have found so many really cool resources to learn how to do Halloween props, building them myself. There's really amazing channels. I'm sure I will reference them in future videos, but I haven't been able to find a channel that really caters to my specific Halloween decorating style, which is, I guess I should say before I say that, my first really big large-scale Halloween project was several years ago. I helped a local children's museum do a haunted house, and because it was a children's museum, and at that point I had I think 2 and 4-year-old, I was aiming to be creepy, not spooky with what we were doing, so that we wouldn't terrify the small children, but it could still be kind of creepy. And so that's sort of a philosophy I've carried into my own decorating, where I want things to be a little on the creepy side, but I don't want it to be scary. And I feel like a lot of the really good Halloween DIY channels very heavily lean into the creepy, which is great, and they're amazing at it. But that's not so much what I try to do. And so maybe that'll give me a little bit of a unique perspective on what I'm doing. We'll see. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So I hope that you guys will join me as we start crafting and creating some fun things in our workshop.